Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for December 4th through 7th, 2020. How are you doing? Wow, what an intense time that we're in. And we are coming up here with Jupiter and Saturn, this great conjunction, the biggest, most powerful visible planets coming together as one point of light later in the month here. Epic experience that we're living through right now. This astrology is biblical. And that's where we need to keep our energy right now. The Jupiter Saturn is a squeezing of energy, like that birth canal, like this compression. And so I see people going back and forth between this kind of in between contractions. You're like, oh, this miracle energy, and then the compression. It's almost like you can only have one or the other, but the message is that this is about the light coming in. We're feeling the darkness, we're feeling the squeeze, we're feeling the pressure, and the message is that what's being revealed to humanity right now is the control energies that have been controlling us since Atlantean time, right? And it's being shown to us very clearly. It feels like there's no hope. Well, it's over. It's the end. And indeed, this astrology is end time astrology, but it's the end of that old world. It's the end of the matrix. And we have to remind ourselves that artificial control energy that we've all been, I've said this again and again, but it's like, if it's revealed the truth of what's happened, been done in our environment to keep us from our own light, this is all a mechanical oppression. And they've had to up their game because the light is coming in massive ways, right? And that game, this mechanical, I'm seeing this big kind of mechanical spider, and it's clamping down on, just the mechanisms that they've used. But that all has to be maintained by energy. And what maintains that matrix energy? Our own power, our own light. We the people are the source. We the people are the power, literally. We literally have access to the power. And what is being shown to us in this epic time is just that. So the squeezing, the death process, know that that's part of it too. As these intense contracting energies, that's forcing us into that ego death. It's forcing us into leaving behind these old stories. But we're used to these stories. We've been working with this paradigm for thousands of years, so there is a death process here. And it's the death of the old self. It's a death of the ego. It's a death of personality constructs that you bought into from all just a whole pile of past lives. And then all of a sudden you're feeling all of it, so I guess that's part of it too. It's hard to be present when you're going through that. We want to escape, find a way out, distract ourselves. And yet it's this is you birthing into your spiritual power and your spiritual light. So you don't want to miss this, and know that those squeezing, contracting times are intense, but they go right along with, this is kind of the mystery, the message, the way out of the trap is these control energies, this oppressive energy, this heaviness, this squeezing, is proportional to the light that's coming in. And that's what this supernova soul, you're here to lead the way. So we got to let ourselves, it's hard because you're at the front line, and maybe that's why it's so intense, supernova souls right now, because you feel like you're taking the battle wounds, you're getting beat up and still, and this is who you are. I mean, and is it time to celebrate this? The strength of your spirit that got you through all this garbage to be living, breathing here on the earth right now for this amazing time? As hard as it is, there's this picture of souls that, we're lining up to be here for this time on the earth, and you got to come. Oh, lucky you, right? So just a juxtaposition here, but the thing about this is that this time of year, this Christmas, the holiday season, this rebirth of the sun energy in the northern hemisphere and reflected in the southern hemisphere, but like this is a mystical, magical time of year where we come back into what really matters. We reset our vibration. We open up to that spiritual light, to taking care of each other, loving each other, like the true human qualities. And these control energies want to keep us from that. Like, that's like, oh, the biggest danger is us congregating together and celebrating spirit and love and hope. Like, that's the biggest danger to the lower matrix. And it's like, you cannot take this from us. It's just not possible, right? And but it's hard because we should be together celebrating and amplifying, but we're being locked down, and so it's this thing of like the supernova soul. This is bringing up so much, it has to do with the Aries energy, with Mars, cruising along now direct, and it's his home sign of Aries after that retrograde. And it's like, okay, take back our I am, take back our life force, take back the warrior, the divine masculine, our ability to direct and act, take our world back, stand up for what's right and good and true. And so we've got this Aries energy, but part of the Aries energy is this loneliness. Like, if you're going to go your own road, because Aries is like my way or the highway, like I'm going to do it, and then there's this thing of like, well, sure, go your own road, but you're going to be all alone. And so there's definitely an energy of like, okay, I'm on the front lines. I'm getting beat up. I've got all this stuff, like trying to clear out from all these traumatic lifetimes where I was beat up before, and I'm all alone, but you're not, right? And so we've got to like, when you go to those squeezing places, you go to those alone places, just know this is part of the story right now. And we're actually working together, and we're paving the way to come together in actual person. Just this next year, there's a lot of energy towards this. It's like, the gates have been opened, even though it feels like we're being closed in. It's because actually the gates have been opened of the greater quarantine, spiritual quarantine, right? Like, Earth has been in quarantine, from kept in a pen as sheeple, as slaves, kept from the truth, the technology, and our galactic family. Like, it just doesn't even exist. It's not out there. And the pen has been opened, but we're just not, we have Stockholm syndrome, and we haven't, it's like there's a lockdown, but the lockdown is actually evidence that the control energies are losing control spiritually. And so it's time to get out of the pen this next year. We're like preparing for that, So keep in mind that the squeezing and tense energies are because there's so much light coming in right now. And soon you will be back there, right? So what I'm seeing is people going into a deep, dark, squeezing place, those ego constructs, that old stories, trauma bodies from past lives, just real, visceral coming up, right? And then, whoa, like more spiritual light, more that life force energy than you've had access to, right? So this is this weird juxtaposition energy. And so just keep your attention on that. Like, this season is going to be a massive revelation. And if you can receive that, like, you got to be, that's your reality right now. This is like the rebirth of the child, the spiritual child within you, and so that's where we're being asked to keep our energy. And that's kind of the energy of this weekend. The moon is in Leo, and it's kind of bringing like, oh, you guys, the light is coming in. That's what this is about. The light is coming in. We are the light. We're remembering, and nothing can stop it. right? And it's only gaining momentum. And then going back to the control energies, that's got to be artificially fed with power, like electricity, like you need money and stuff to keep up all this, whatever the heck they're doing to us with EMFs and chemtrails and, whatever. And so this light is organic, and it's the source of all, and it's building, and it's getting stronger. And these are like, what I'm kind of seeing is this period of time is like gamma rays from the center of the universe being this, which is so powerful because this total solar eclipse we're coming up on Monday the 14th, and the soul group session is the 13th. So I would love to have you there. And there's a coupon if you went to the lunar eclipse, there's the coupon code for 50% off. And if you go to the total solar eclipse soul group session, I'm also going to I haven't done it yet, but I need to put a coupon in there for the solstice. And so we can all be together for these events. It'd be so great if you can be there to really anchor in these energies, give ourselves permission for our rebirth. I mean, so the message is, supernova souls, you're here to lead the way. And you got to step over and receive these energies. And it's your rebirth into your bigger spiritual self. And the reason why you're here to lead the way is exactly why your life's been so messed up. What's wrong about you, what's right about you, what's wrong about you is actually what's right about you. And you have these incredible spiritual faculties that you had no idea you had. And this is because as a supernova soul, you have already been embodied in your spiritual, like these higher gifts, intuitive gifts and technologies that have been hidden from us. You had in your soul memory, there's a memory of a lifetime, at least one, maybe, typically one or two, in ancient times where you were like more fully embodied in these intuitive gifts and skills. So that's why you're here on the front line, because you remember. And so we've got to give ourselves permission to be like, oh yeah, this is a light coming in. This is my rebirth. This is me finally coming into who I am. And part of the reason why the supernova concept fits so well, the brand, is because it's about potential. And everything wrong in your life has been about all this potential you have that's not being used. And it's eating you up inside and making you sick. And it's time to share those gifts with the world. We need you. And up to this point, it's been like, what's that? It's weird. Like, no, just be normal. Just fit in. What's your problem, right? And it's like, you have the wealth. And that's what this season is about for you. Opening up the spiritual presence of who you are. And that's like because you have this soul memory, even though you don't really remember, but you do have all the traits of a supernova soul, right? And then you have this soul memory, and that's what's awakening within you. And of course, there's just been so much programming that's been about keeping you in the pen, keeping you playing small, keeping you scared of your potential, keeping you scared of your potential in order to keep Earth as a slave planet. Game over. Done. And that's where we're at right now. So don't lose sight of that bigger picture when you're going through those squeezing times. Because what's falling away is that South Node Sagittarius, this energy of like, oh, I didn't fulfill my mission in my past life. I don't know who I am. And it's like, just we got to close those chapters, clear those trauma bodies. That collapses those old timelines and gives you more permission to be fully present here in this rebirth of your bigger spiritual self. And it's like, oh, that's why it's been so hard and so weird and why I don't fit in. You're never here to fit in. And it's like, okay, time to let that freak flag fly, and that's part of the Aquarius energy. We have to understand, we have to remember that, oh, this is heavy, N degrees of Capricorn, Jupiter, Saturn, the great conjunction, just like pressure. And yet it's pressure of that potential of the seed sprouting, the star seed sprouting. It's time. And the Aquarius energy is like, express yourself, be your truth, and be in your individuality. Celebrate how weird you are, because this is the wealth of the world, and you being brave and stepping over. And it's ironic because it's like, wait a minute, the Piscean age energy is like, you're supposed to struggle, you're supposed to sacrifice, you're supposed to like fix and heal and go down into the, suffering and all that. And now it's like, wait a minute. You mean my purpose here is to celebrate life? Is this Mars direct in Aries? Like zest, life force, our life here is supposed to be a celebration, an ecstatic experience where consciousness in a body, aware of itself, going through spiritual ascension. Whoa, right? And it's like, yeah, so your path, your purpose is to be who you really are, step into that light, establish those higher frequency vibrations, and celebrate, So, but just remember, there's these juxtaposition times, and that's kind of what we're doing. It's like the end degrees of Capricorn is so heavy and this oppressive, and that in the pen and the boundaries and the walls, right? And then, but it's like the whole thing is like they're going over into Aquarius. And so it's like, it's dark and light, right next to each other. And that darkest before the dawn. And the point in the birth when you think both the baby and the mom are dying, but they're actually just about to have an ecstatic reunion. You're having an ecstatic reunion with your baby, your spiritual baby self. And so we got to like get out of the way, surrender, and allow this to happen, Where we're struggling right now is that lower ego self that's saying, I need to know what's going on. I need to plan for the future. And it's like, no, you don't get to. You in that small self has no idea what's going on. And that's perfect. It's pushing us to surrender to this bigger spiritual self. It's your path. It's your purpose. It's what you're here to do. And it feels freaking amazing. Can you allow that for yourself? So that's the energy of what's going on. And there's really supportive energies for this as we move into next week, because, actually, we're already feeling coming up here early in the next week. So next week is really interesting with Venus coming into sextile with Pluto, then with Jupiter, then with Saturn. And those energies sextiles are like creative solutions, and Venus still in Scorpio. And it's like that energy of for the supernova soul, clearing that. So the one issue that's in the way, or that needs to be resolved, and is the magic key into the lock, is kind of what these sextiles are about, is our self-worth, clearing the shadows that we are somehow forsaken. We have to earn it back. We're not good enough. This is what I feel like is really in the way of supernova souls finding each other, coming into their gifts and skills, feeling better, allowing themselves these higher energies, is just this like deep, profound programming over lifetimes from traumatic past lives that say you don't deserve. And that's all connected to this South Node Sag energy of like, you failed on your mission, so you don't deserve it. God doesn't love you. You messed up. You're just stuck here forever in the, in the punishment. This is an interesting thing that's been coming through for the supernova souls, is this kind of whole belief system from ancient times that your sojourn in Earth, this experience in this Earth evolution is the punishment. You've been exiled. And how many of us feel this way? Like, who dropped me off here? And when are they going to come pick me up and take me home? Because this place is rough, And then here we are embodying. And when you embody, you have to feel all the things that you've been escaping from for lifetimes. All those traumas is like coming in, and it's like, what? And the world is so intense and so dark right now. And it's like, oh, how do you even exist in this world as a sensitive soul like this? And when you embody, you feel it even more. And you have to feel all these things that you haven't felt for lifetimes because you went out, you've just been partially here. You've been just like a low placeholder. And now, so a big part of these energies is like you as a supernova souls being like pulled into your body in the bigger self. And that's traumatic in its own way too, right? Because it is this waking up and having to feel and, the intensity of this world, but this is part of the thing that's dissolving, perhaps, is this deep subconscious feeling for these advanced souls. It's almost like the more advanced you are, the more experiences you've had with spiritual evolution and ascension, the more you feel that you have been exiled here and that Earth is a punishment for something you did wrong. If that's the case, then you're never going to allow yourself the celebration of new Earth energies. So we got to rewrite that story, right? And that would be a big factor keeping us from finding each other too, right? Like those people you want to come and take you home, they're actually here on the Earth with you. We've just been blocked from finding each other because we're all in compartmentalized quarantine. Sure, you can have all the control-based, fake love, narcissistic relationships you want. They're everywhere. But actually true, loving, caring, supernova souls, for the most part, have never really experienced this. And then we're supposed to feel like we deserve new Earth when we can't even like most of the people in our life for lifetimes aren't even capable of loving us. It's about controlling us. And we're supposed to just step into this new paradigm where we have like our family back, our soul family. So just keep in mind that like this is intense and it's dark and it's heavy because of how light it is, because of the spiritual revelation coming in. Because the Star of Bethlehem is like appearing in our skies exact on the solstice. The light is returning. You are returning. So just keep your eye on the prize, be present with that bigger picture through that squeezing. You are the alchemist right now, taking that heavy dross energy of what's not been felt, what hasn't been resolved from past lives, and you're just going into that and turning it into gold. So I look forward. Have a great weekend. Use this moon in Leo energy to just keep that your eye on the prize of spiritual revelation. That's what this is about. And just what does it mean for you to let yourself celebrate life? So we're kind of, just again, the fake matrix, heavy control, darkness, oppression, you guys lost, it's all over. You might as well just roll over and let us microchip you and, like forced vaccination, all that. Like that's playing out. But it's because of this massive light coming in, and you are that light. So hang in there, have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Very powerful week as we've got a whole bunch of dynamic transits moving us into this total solar eclipse. And what a powerful portal. So the total solar eclipse on the 14th through the solstice on 21st and really through Christmas, kind of those few days after, because the solstice, we're in a portal. We're heading into this very powerful portal. We're in a very strange time. The time in between eclipses, very, very strange. But it's about rearranging, especially these mutable signs, the nodes in mutable signs. That's about a massive adjustment. And so eclipses are about timeline alignment, things being revealed. And so it's a major adjustment. So just keep that in mind when you're going through into the dross, into the heavy that you're making into light. So I will see you soon on the next update, and I hope you can make it for those soul group sessions. And until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.